Oh, look at this. Hey, everybody. What's happening? Welcome. Welcome to Go 96.3. Welcome to the Alternative Channel's first ever Q&A Town Hall Vibe Go Garage session. Very excited to be here with you and one of my favorite bands on planet Earth. 2/4 of the band, Mr. Davey Havoc, Adam Carson of A Fire Inside. AFI, hello. Make some noise.
Hello.
Can we turn that music off? All good. Anyone going to the show tonight at First Avenue? Who's going? Who's going? We there? You should be there because AFI is really good live, and First Ave is an amazing venue. Actually, have you guys played the main room before? I'm sure you have.
We have.
I believe so.
We definitely played in 2000 with Rancid and the Distillers, but I feel like we played once before headlining there.
I think so.
We certainly played 7th Street Entry.
Yeah, I remember the entry.
There was 4 people there.
Wasn't it like 18 and over or something like that? It was the only place to play in Minneapolis, and we always had to concede that. I remember maybe it was sold out, but we snuck a young person in your drum case.
Did you really do that?
There?
Yeah, we did. Later I spoke to him on the phone because it turned out it was one of the boys who started what was a hardcore label called Bridge 9.
I know Bridge 9.
Yeah.
I'm aware of Bridge 9.
Yeah, you can.
We can talk about it.
You can ask them. You can ask them, and I believe we snuck. Maybe it was Kyle. I don't. Sorry.
We have
one
memories.
of them
Riveting
got snuck in a
radio
drum
already.
case.
We have memories in Minneapolis, and one of those is sneaking a kid into your show through a drum set. That's
Yeah.
cool. I like that. Welcome.
Yeah, thank
any
you.
other standouts from your time being in a band and coming to the Twin Cities over the years?
Skyway.
I sort of
Cool.
touched on it, but the first time we played the 7th Street Entry, I think there were like 4 people. Do you remember that? And we were really excited to come here because our old bass player had like family here, so we knew that we'd go be taken care of and get a bunch of like food and showers and stuff you don't ever get on tour. So we were really looking forward to it. But when we played this show, there was no one there. But we changed that, and now.
But it was
you
Paul
guys are here.
Westerberg.
Yeah.
Prince.
I mean, we are the home of the Replacements, so
Yes.
we do have
That's
that.
why I
here,
was
too.
there.
You've played. Have you played
wasn't a
shows?
coincidence.
Have you played with them before?
With the Replacements?
Yeah.
Only at a festival.
Yeah, I was Coachella a couple years ago, and
And Riot Fest, so two
Riot
festivals.
Fest, yeah.
Right. So during the reunions, which of course was.
Sorry
Go
to
ahead.
cut you off, but I actually got kicked out of the backstage while the Replacements were playing. Like,
What did you do?
everyone was trying to get
He
on
was pissing
stage
me
to
off.
watch the band, and I thought, screw that, I'm going to like stand like 50 feet in back of the stage and just watch from the back. And some security came up to me and told me I couldn't stand there. And I had a laminate, and I was like, well, my dressing room's right there. He's like, you can't be here. So,
I saw them. They were great.
yeah. He got on stage.
I got a picture with Paul.
That's the difference between being the singer and being the drummer.
It's fine. They'll totally tour again. They'll play more shows for sure. So you'll have another chance. The new album. I got to tell you, I'm not just saying this because I like you guys. It's fantastic. It's my favorite AFI record in over a decade.
Wow, thanks, Miles.
And I think we would agree, right? I mean, it's so good. I have it on repeat. Just really, really impressed with what you guys put together. And Dave, I saw you a couple months ago, and you were telling me that you're going to have a new AFI record, and I had no idea. I don't think anyone really knew that you were even working on one. So how did this record come to be, and how are you feeling about the reception you're getting so far?
We're so thrilled with the reception. I mean, it debuted at 5 yesterday? Yep. Yeah, today. So thank you
Thank
all
you.
for that.
And if I may add, if we're breaking it down, the #1 album in the Twin Cities this week.
All right.
So
Thank you,
I'm
Twin
just saying,
Cities.
we're a little
That's
ahead of
wild.
the curve over here.
I mean, honestly, like that, it really means so much to us at a time when we're very aware that music is free, and at a time when the mainstream really doesn't gravitate toward rock music. It means so much to us that you all went out and essentially cast your vote for us. I mean, that's what it's like, and we love for you to have our music any way that you want to have it, but to do that, it's beyond what you need to do and what you'd have to do and what most people do, and so we really recognize that, and it's very, very touching and meaningful to us. So thank you very much. You guys are beyond. And as far as making the record goes, it was very similar to processes that occur when making an AFI record. In the past, we spent close to a year writing 60 or so songs, and we distilled it down into the songs that you hear on the Blood record now. Jade produced the record, which was really fantastic. I think his production really elevated the record in a way that other records haven't been in the past due to his involvement in AFI and his perspective. And he is so detailed in his writing and in his production, and he's so well aware of all of our abilities and our strengths and our nuances. And who better knows AFI than Jade? And I think he really accentuated all the strengths very well.
Had he produced an AFI record before this?
No, I don't.
No,
not technically.
There's an
but-
argument that he kind of has been producing the last couple because he does demos of the songs that are so fully realized that a lot of the layers from the demos just get slid over to the final mix. So
Right.
Yeah.
this
Honestly,
time he is getting the credit for it.
If you hear these demos, like when we're writing, the demo versions are just so evolved that oftentimes I'm like, well, what else is there to do? But then
Drums.
But then,
That's the thing.
right? What?
Yeah,
You guys both have a lot going on outside of AFI. Dave, I know you've been writing a lot. You have you've released I know at least one book.
Yeah. The second should be out this year. I have a really great friend who is such an amazing artist who's creating the artwork for the chapter heads and for the cover that are perfect for the tone of the book and the voice of the protagonist. And he's had the manuscript for a long time. And so I have been receiving texts from him about once every 2 weeks saying that they're going to be done the following week. But we are very close. I've seen all the chapter heads, and so I think he's very close to finishing the cover, and it'll be worth the wait for the artwork. I can't say that the literature is worth the wait, but I'm very happy with it. I'm very excited to release it.
I know you've been working hard on that, Adam. I saw you at Elbow Room in San Francisco outside of AFI performing in a band some time ago. I know you're expecting your first child very soon, which is very awesome. Make some noise for Adam. Married,
Thank you.
beautiful wife, and all that. So you guys have a lot going on outside of AFI too. So when you come to make an AFI record and tour, how do you kind of separate that? And what is, I guess, the mentality going into an AFI project versus other ones?
I mean, it's very the projects distinguish themselves by way of what particular art we're getting involved in, and if it's I'm in like 5 different music projects, and they they're all very distinctive musically, and then to distinguish between writing and creating music is a very stark distinction. And so AFI informs itself when we're sitting down and we're writing AFI. It is AFI, and acts like AFI, and as we follow suit. So when we begin writing, it just flows into the rehearsal and the tracking, and then we're here with you, Miles. Here we are.
I'm glad to be here with you. I've been
Glad to
looking
be here
forward to
with
this
you.
for quite a while. I made sure I dressed nice today because
look
I
great.
knew
Doesn't he look
you were
great?
gonna. See, I did
Yes.
no applause, so I
He
don't.
does.
I can't. No, stop. No, let's.
He
I don't
did.
need your
He
pity.
did.
I don't
He
need your
did.
pity
He
anymore.
did.
Come on.
Miles
I know.
looks
I know. I'm right next to Davey Havoc. I
Miles
can't.
looks great.
I can't compete with that.
Look at me. I look like I'm in my PJs.
No, you look. Adam, when
Better than me.
I used to live in the Bay Area, which is where AFI was formed, and Adam, I used to see you at concerts all the time at Fillmore and Not the Fox, which we talked about. But
All over the place.
yeah, it's all over the place. Have you seen any cool shows lately? Any bands in particular that you're into?
I saw Echo and the Bunnymen play,
Yeah,
which was pretty cool. And I'd actually forgotten about the show and was reminded of it from a friend who was actually there. And I just kind of dropped everything and went and caught the last 45 minutes. It was great.
I think you played a festival with them in
We
right
did.
as December Underground came out in '06.
Yeah.
I seem to remember something of those sorts in the Bay. So.
Yeah. I mean, there's no question that they're one of the greatest bands, but sometimes I forget that every song is a banger.
So good.
You know, when they play a set that's all greatest hit. I mean, every song is a greatest hit. So
How's your tour been going so far? How many
been
shows in are we?
Fantastic. I don't know how many shows. We began at Amoeba Music.
7.
We played Jimmy Kimmel, Los Angeles.
Oklahoma.
Several. We played several shows. I think we've been out for 10 days, maybe ish. I don't know.
The
I don't
set
even know what
list-
day it is today. Oh, I do. It's Monday. Right?
Yes, it's Monday. Because yesterday was Sunday. Tomorrow will be Tuesday. I just
That's how it
realized
works.
that.
That's how it
So,
works.
We got this.
That's how it works. I was in Omaha yesterday.
You were in Omaha,
With
home
your
of my
family.
grandparents.
Yep, I was with your
Interesting.
grandparents.
How was that?
Stopped by to visit.
Was anyone from my family there for real? I'm sure they would have been.
I'm sure they were there,
Yeah.
but they weren't.
Yeah, they're hanging out with 311
They
and
weren't, they weren't with me. Are they from? Whoa.
Connor Oberst.
I didn't realize 311 was from Omaha.
I think so.
Originally from
Right?
Omaha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
311, Bright Eyes, Saddle Creek Records.
I ate at Modern Love.
How was that?
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
If you guys are in Omaha, Modern Love, it's a great place to eat. It's right next to some bar that you shouldn't drink at because drinking is bad.
Drinking is a drug.
That's correct.
It is. No, it is. Like, people say it.
drinking is a
Alcohol is a
an
drug.
action. Alcohol is a
I
drug.
know you're smart. You're an intelligent guy.
It's a
I know.
gerund.
Before we open doors here, Davey asked me if I can get him some tea, and I put the tea in like one of those copper mugs that typically
I think it's for booze, right?
it's for alcoholic beverages.
It's
Why
for
we
your-
have that
for
here
your
at
mint
Go
julep.
96.3, I don't know.
Julep or some sort of like
Right?
rum beverage or something like that.
Yeah.
And Miles switched it for me. It wasn't because of the alcohol. It sounds like I'm just a princess, but it burned. I couldn't touch it to my lips. It was because it conducts heat.
He said it. He said it.
It
Not
was,
me.
he offered.
The Blood Album. What does that mean? What does the name of the album mean? Why is it called the Blood Album?
Who is Jack the Giant Slayer?
So we have a lot of free mugs that get sent to us, being a radio station. And Jack the Giant Slayer, I believe, was a movie that came out that nobody cared about a couple years ago. And they spent a lot of money on marketing, and we have a free mug
That's
for you now.
great. Thank you very
And
much.
guess what? You can have that.
Whoa, thank you. I have so much Jack the Giant Slayer merch that it'll fit right
Right.
in with my collection. Not this.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. The tea is just not happening today, and that's my fault.
I blame you for me spilling the tea on
Totally my
myself.
fault, man. I'm sorry.
I blame Jack the Giant Slayer. When we were writing the Blood record in the early stages, I started to notice that a lot of the lyrics that I was creating had the word blood in it. And as that reoccurrence pressed upon me, I mentioned to Jade, this reoccurrence is happening. It's something that maybe we should take note of later. And by the time we were done, Blood seemed to be an appropriate title for the record, as it really speaks of many of the themes that weave through the record throughout the songs. And there's a lot of themes of connection and identity, misperceptions of connection, and Blood nods to that.
It does.
It does.
Excellent.
Thanks.
We had some listeners out here write some questions down. I have some in my hand. I thought
Okay.
maybe we can run
it.
through a couple of these
Okay.
here live at Go 96.3 and on the internet on Facebook. Let's see here. Riley from Minneapolis. What is the most memorable show you've played and why? Adam, I'm going to give you this one.
Oh, I had a good answer for this.
I have it. Do you want it?
Yeah.
The answer is after briefly breaking up in 19.
Oh, yeah,
okay,
that's
you don't want me
boring
to tell
now.
it? I
No.
know, but that's the answer.
You
We
guys
played
broke
a
up
show
briefly?
in Toronto once, and
Okay.
we were super late. We got held up at the border. So by the time we got to the venue, there was just this energy to the show, and maybe it was like created by us feeling really frantic. But we were playing. I'm trying to do a really quick version of this story.
We got time.
The bouncers were being really rough with the kids, and at some point we had to sort of stop the set to kind of check them, and maybe the language we used to check them wasn't appropriate.
He's so diplomatic.
Yeah.
I started a riot.
Okay. So
You may have
basically,
heard about it in Damien's podcast.
okay. The bouncers had to flee the building. But then we realized we had created a really unruly crowd, and
Now it's we.
Axl Rose 91
Now
situation.
it's we.
Yeah.
Came
Yeah.
out from behind the drums, grabs me, and says, "Do you remember?" Because I vividly
I don't remember this.
Oh, he goes,
good me.
"You are going to be responsible for people's death." and I'm flipping.
Yeah.
Fuck these people, fuck you, everyone fucking dies. And Adam grabs me and looks me in the eyes and says that, and he goes, you don't want that, and I go, no,
I do not want that.
I don't. You're right.
So Davey gives a really great speech, a hardcore speech for the ages, and really gets the crowd to not necessarily calm down, but just to like be kind to each other. And we continued to play with no security. It was one of the best shows we've ever played. The crowd was the best crowd. Everyone was picking each other up, just doing all the things that you want to see at a show. No violence. It was great. Got a little tricky after the show, but that's another story.
A little tricky. Just to be clear, it began because the security was beating up very, very young, small, helpless kids. And we kept asking them to stop doing that, and they didn't, and I got upset.
The staff at First Avenue is very, very nice, and I do not anticipate that tonight because we love them. No, they are. They're great.
Yeah.
They're totally
Yeah.
great.
Thank you, First Avenue.
They really are. You mentioned that you broke up briefly?
Yeah.
What was that?
Well, so when in 1993, Adam and I and Mark, who were the original members of AFI, all moved to different cities, and we all went to college. Correct. And no one cared about AFI at the time, other than ourselves greatly. And and then Jeff, who was the bass player, moved to New Jersey, and we thought that was it. And over that course of time, I was at a show at the Phoenix Theater in Petaluma, California, home of Miles.
Yes.
Essentially, right?
Roner Park.
Roner
but
Park.
Yeah, right
Very
there.
close.
Yeah.
And some kids were talking about how much they loved AFI and how all the 7-inches sold out of the record store. I said, that's completely wrong. No one cares. No one ever cares. And his name was Dave. He said, he was in a band called Milk Fat.
Milk Fat, yeah.
Milk Fat. He said, you should do a reunion. I said, that makes no sense. And he said, trust me, you should do it. So we were broken up for about 3 months maybe, and we did this reunion show, and that's what caused us to get back together, because it was fantastic. There were about 200 people. It seemed like 200,000.
Yeah.
Kids were singing along. It was the first time that ever happened, and there you go.
That's incredible. And here you are now. In
And here we are now.
2017.
Thank
Album
you.
number 10.
Thank you.
Is
Thank you,
out
Adam.
now, and it's amazing. You should listen to it. Let's go with, skip that one. Let's go with Heather in Anoka. Favorite place you've visited?
Well, I don't live in Manhattan, but it's my favorite city in the world. So does that count, visiting?
What is it about Manhattan that makes it your favorite? I wouldn't think that.
I
of
love
you.
the culture. I love the energy. I mean, it's filled with art. It's filled with artists. It's filled with creatives. It's a 24-hour city. There's great food. I love theater. I love everything. I love the people. I love on the East Coast the honesty of how people interact with each other, and they're very straightforward and they're very true, whether or not what they have to say is kind or not. And I appreciate that,
Yeah.
because it's not a kind world, and I'd rather honesty than sugarcoating something. And it's my favorite city.
Have you considered moving there?
Yeah, I have many times, but it's difficult with all of AFI living in California.
That's a good point.
It would be,
And other things, by the way, in
and
fairness.
many
Like, you guys
many
have-
other things. I just touched on that. Yeah.
What about you, Adam?
I love when we go to Tokyo. I think it's exhausting, but it's always a really fun, surreal experience. There's always something new that I've never seen. We went to a restaurant once. It was a sushi restaurant, but the theme was Alcatraz, like the jail in the island in the Bay of San Francisco. And so, like, all the little tables were these jail cells, basically. And then every hour, all the lights would go out, and there'd be like black light stuff that you hadn't seen before, and all the waiters would suddenly be wearing hockey masks, and all the waitresses would have the nurse outfits for some reason, which makes no sense, but
Like
I've never
recreating
heard
that-
of this before,
and they
by the
would-
way. This
Yeah,
is
we-
interesting to me as well.
yeah, and they would run through with like knives and kind of have these like little skits and scream. And we went out to dinner with the All American Rejects.
I was not there.
Oh, it was fun, but it was so bizarre, and that's just kind of like, it's not necessarily a cultural thing, but it's just kind of a different take on Western culture. So it's a lot of fun.
Tokyo's my next stop. The
Yeah.
next time I travel, I'm
Yeah.
going to Tokyo. I have never been.
That's a
I
good
have
choice.
To go.
Good
Yeah.
choice.
In case you guys were wondering. I don't know.
That was the next question. Miles, where is your next stop?
Tokyo, Japan.
Got it.
Let's go with Brent in North Branch / Coon Rapids. Dave, what's your favorite animal?
Cats. Thanks, Brent.
Can
I don't really have a favorite animal. I don't have a favorite anything. When you have to really, maybe what's your favorite cat? I might be able to come up with that, but probably not.
I have a question for you.
Go on.
What is your favorite cat?
I don't know.
Okay. So we can't do
I
that.
don't know. That's a bad example. Like if you were to say, what's your favorite band? Obviously, I have no favorite band. I think you'd have to be like, what's your favorite British, like new romantic band from 1980 to 1985? And maybe it's Duran Duran. Maybe, Cats.
I did. I did. You know, I don't know. I'll say it. I don't care. I did enjoy your PETA advertisements that were on the internet,
Go on.
where you weren't wearing any clothes.
What's that?
You weren't wearing any clothes.
There were none.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something right now. After watching those, I need to work out.
You need to go vegan.
I need to start working out and
No,
go vegan.
You need to go vegan. This was not
100%.
this was not a fitness ad.
Yeah.
But thank you.
But yeah, I mean, geez, man, come on now.
Yeah.
Adam, we should go work out together and try and.
We should all go vegan together. He's leaving.
I know. Adam, this
Yes.
comes from Eric and Brainerd. Are you reading any books?
Oh.
And do you have any recommendations?
Unfortunately, or fortunately, I should say, all my reading these days is how to talk expectant fathers off the fence. And if you're successful in doing that, how do you properly train them to do that thing that
Yeah.
dads do?
How is that feeling, man? Like I recently, I'm 32, and I kind of got to that point in my life where I said, you know what? I could probably settle down and have a child. I think I could do that. I got to meet the right person first. Don't get me wrong, Dave. But how is that feeling for you? Like knowing that's kind of around the corner and.
I'm excited. I think anybody who goes into that not completely terrified
Yeah.
is probably not properly assessing how their life is going to change and preparing for those changes. I think people who go into it super confident are probably in for a huge shock.
And you got to find the right person first. I think
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah,
people make the
certainly.
mistake of, I want to have a kid. That's it. Bottom line. And that kind of oversees or overshadows rather finding the right person first. So
Certainly, that's without a doubt. I mean, that was all safely taken care of about 7 years ago.
good job out of you, Adam.
Thank you.
I read
Super
Set
happy
the Boy
for you.
Free.
What's that?
I read Set the Boy Free.
Set the Boy Free.
It's Johnny Marr's book.
I need to read
That's
that
correct.
book.
That is correct.
I need to read
Have
that
any of
book.
you read this? Wow. It is a fantastic nonfiction rock story.
There's a section about Marr and Morrissey meeting up and
Mhm.
potentially talking about reuniting, which
Mhm.
didn't happen. But
Mhm.
what was that? That must have been fun to read.
The whole thing is fun to read. All the
Yeah.
stories. He is so endearing and intelligent and well spoken. He doesn't disparage anyone in the book. Probably people who deserve some disparaging. His stories. If you enjoy that era of music and Britain, I mean, there's Billy Duffy and Ian McCulloch and of course Moz and the Smiths and the Replacements and U2 and his and of course Modest Mouse. Did I say Replacements?
You did, but I know
That's
you meant.
insane. What did I mean?
The Cribs.
No,
in
Chrissy
the Cribs.
Hind.
Oh, you played in the
Oh, right.
Pretenders.
Thanks. It's just because I'm here. It's on my mind. The book's fantastic.
Okay.
They didn't get back together, the Smiths, in case you didn't notice.
Can you imagine?
I know.
But what would happen is Adam would probably miss out because he'd get kicked out backstage or something.
True.
You know. that would
Right.
happen. Thanks, one person, for laughing at my
That's
joke.
a shame. I liked it. I laughed.
You laughed too, and that meant a lot to me.
Thank-
Let's see here. Over the years, this is a good one. Over the years, your style of music has transformed with each album. What causes this change? That's from Michelle in North Dakota. Wow, welcome. Welcome to the Twin Cities.
Michelle, the answer lies within the question, really, which is the years is what causes that in a way. As we've grown as people and as we've grown as songwriters, and as musicians, with each with each record, we're pushing ourselves and we're finding new aspects of ourselves in both ways that really come through in our creations. And we have historically always found ourselves shying away from repetition when we're creating and we're making something that seems familiar. It's not as exciting for us as something that is breaking new ground, and that leads to record after record being markedly different from the previous record.
Let's go with Nova in Minneapolis. Did you ever see yourselves getting this much notoriety with the band when you started?
When we started,
No.
no
not
way.
at all.
You broke up 2 years into it, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think that we've said this a lot before, but we have never really had certain set goals as a band at any point in the career. I mean, back in the day, like if we could just play a show, to 50 people, or if we could just string a couple shows together, if we could get all our stuff in a van and go out on tour for a couple weeks. So there was never a moment way back when where we thought, it would be really cool if someday, 25 years later, we could be at a radio station in Minneapolis.
Right.
You made it, man.
Yeah,
We're
we did.
here. We did it.
But it's like it's
being
sort of,
interviewed by me.
There it is.
It's having these sort of like realistic expectations and just trying to do what we can do as a band in the present, in the moment.
Yeah.
Not
Getting
too much
signed.
forward thinking. Just continuing to do it. Excuse me, I'm stuttering.
What was it like that first time you had that #1 record in 06? I mean, that
was
was one of
wild.
the coolest moments I remember.
Weren't we at O'Hare when we got the call?
Yeah.
Right.
We were flying to Montreal.
Uh-huh. Okay. And then we were in Toronto a couple days later. Yeah. Yeah.
That was a great record.
Thanks.
So many good
It
albums.
was pretty exciting.
Thanks for being here, guys. I love this.
Thanks,
All
Miles.
right, we're going to do like 5 more minutes. Let's do 2 more questions here. From the new album, what song are you most looking forward to playing live? Or I guess we can just ask what's your favorite song to play live from the new album.
We've been playing quite a few Off Blood. We've been rotating through some of the songs, which is really exciting. I don't have a favorite. I love playing Aurelia.
That's mine. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
It's kind of everything that I like about AFI, kind of
Mhm.
all in one song.
I think that's well said.
All right, 2 more real quick, because I like both of these. Alyssa in Minnesota, which is where we are. What song will never come off the set list? It's always going to be a must play. Is there one song that you guys will probably never not play?
I mean, I don't know. I can't. You never say never. I mean, things sometimes come off. We generally play the big singles.
Yeah.
But
Every show is different. If we were to be doing like a radio show, we know that the crowd isn't entirely our fans, and so we want to play songs that they maybe have heard before. But when we're playing a show like tonight, where we know that anybody who is there bought a ticket because they want to see AFI, we know we can kind of stretch out and play some deeper cuts, and maybe play some songs that the fans would actually come away from the show thinking that they got a unique experience. So
Yeah.
we kind of change it up.
Let's do one more, perhaps the most important question that will be asked
Cats.
tonight. The answer is Cats. Becky in Arizona. We're like all over the country right now. Where you at, Becky? You here? Hey.
Hi, Becky.
Welcome to the Twin Cities as well. You guys, I mean, you have fans all over the country traveling to see you. I mean, that's crazy.
That's
Becky,
wild.
what brings you to this show?
I went to Paisley Park yesterday.
Ooh.
Oh. X.
Awesome.
Paisley Park. Prince lived there.
Did he?
He did.
Who knew?
Missed that guy. Okay, this is going to be a question for both of you. Adam, we'll start with you. When you sleep in a hotel bed,
Mm.
do you untuck the blankets or leave them tucked in?
I leave them. If I can tuck them in tighter, I do. I'm a proponent of the really tight envelope,
Okay.
and just kind of trying to slot myself in there.
Like a cocoon? Yeah, sure.
And sometimes I'll wake up and it's as if nobody slept in the bed.
You agree?
Most of the time, as we were touring, we would sleep 7 or 8 to a room, and I would often end up sleeping in the bathroom, on the bathroom floor, and so I just became accustomed to that. So I just kind of lay out the bath mat and sleep on the bathroom floor still.
As
in
one
hotels.
should.
But like now, in places like Minneapolis, the floor is heated.
Right.
Yeah,
Keeping it comfortable for you
it's nice.
because it's cold outside,
right.
warm inside.
Thinking of those bathroom sleepers.
One more time. That's right. This was fun. Go Garage Q&A session with AFI, Davey Havoc,
Thank you.
Adam Carson.
Thank you.
all of you, thanks for being here. It's the
you.
Alternative Channel at 96.3.